Between Russia and Ukraine is now in its fourth week, with Moscow and Kyiv holding negotiations to try to end the conflict. Russia's top negotiator says the two sides have brought their positions as close as possible on a proposal for Ukraine to become a neutral state, but that there were nuances when it comes to security guarantees requested by Ukraine. The Ukrainian side said its positions are unchanged, calling for a ceasefire, a withdrawal of Russian troops, and strong security guarantees with concrete formulas. Mikhailo Podolyak, an advisor to Ukraine's president, said on Thursday that a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is likely to take place in the next few weeks after signing a peace deal that the two sides are drawing up. In a phone conversation with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz on Friday, Russian President Putin criticized Kiev for trying to delay the negotiation process in every way possible, putting forward more unrealistic proposals. Meanwhile, President Zelenskyy has warned that Russia will pay a high price for moving its troops into Ukraine. For the first time, shells have fallen on Ukraine's western city of Lviv, that's close to the Polish border, where some 200,000 people fleeing other parts of Ukraine are taking refuge. Michael Voss has more.
It was 6 o'clock in the morning here in Lviv when a number of Russian cruise missiles destroyed an aircraft repair factory on the edge of town. It's the very first time this city, Lviv, has been targeted. It's seen as a safe haven, a transit point for refugees, some 200,000 refugees actually staying in the city rather than leaving the country. The mayor says there is nowhere safe. This missile attack has shown that. What we can say is, though, that there's no sign of Russian troops advancing on Lviv or the threat of shelling. That's taking place in the east and south of the country. What's happened is that Russia has failed to take most of the major towns and cities, so it's falling back on that. More shelling today in the capital, Kyiv. 6 buildings, including a daycare center, were destroyed in the second city, Kyiv. Constant shelling, and its biggest shopping mall is now ablaze. In Mariupol, they managed to get about 130 people out of that theater that was bombed, but we haven't heard of any more people being able to come out. There's constant shelling there. Apparently the Russian troops have now moved into the city centre. I think Mariupol will fall shortly, but at the same time we don't know what's happened to maybe 1,000 people still trapped in that basement. A lot of talk about peace negotiations and ceasefires, but they're still somewhere down the road. But already Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is looking to the future. Let's hear what he had to say.
We will rebuild everything. I have no doubt about that. We will become a full member of the EU. Every one of our government representatives worked for this 24/7. But life will be different for many of us. Without the thousands of hearts stopped by this war, we will never forget all those who gave their lives for Ukraine.
On the humanitarian front, there's serious concerns now about conditions inside these besieged cities. The World Food Programme says there's enormous problems, supply chain problems, getting food in. The World Food Programme says it has about 7,000 tons of food in the country now, but it's mainly in warehouses in places like this city, Lviv. There's a lot more, they say, on the way, but they can't get enough drivers to take them into these besieged cities. It's not safe. So there's a real problem there. The other problem is getting people out. There are still the occasional safe corridors. Some civilians are managing to flee. We are seeing them arrive here by train in Lviv, but in smaller numbers. But it's a big problem now, and in areas like Mariupol, very, very few people are managing to get out. Michael Voss, CGTN, Lviv.